We have another great interview and an Ask 5 today. Damon Caldwell, I've known him 21 years. We have done a lot together, and he's going to tell you his story, but I just want to tell you that he is leading a team of 125 agents, and he's going to tell you how he does that.
That's right. So join us today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
You've reached the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Welcome, everyone, to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 269. You can find all of those show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. So, Jan O'Brien, before we even bring Damon in, so you guys met at Prudential, but were you his broker?
Basically, he's going to have to remind me of this. I feel that we worked together as managers at Prudential. Okay. I don't necessarily think I was his broker, but maybe
I have
for
to ask that question because in 269 episodes, anyone from Vegas, with the exception of one person, you have been the broker for. So
I think he was over another office but I was always promoting him to be a broker and move him into that because I always saw, who he was, and we think a lot. We've always have a lot of the same style of leadership and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, it's been great, right? So, and he's come a long way. Like, had a team. He's been a broker. He's been like the corporate broker, and now he's back kind of full circle, being this mega team leader. So, we're
go ahead and bring him in, Mr. Caldwell. Welcome to the podcast.
Maybe you can answer that, Damon. I think we were in different offices, right? And then at Prudential, and then you became a sales manager at Sahara, if I'm remembering correctly.
No. So I joined Prudential Americana Group with Thomas Kukias.
Oh,
was the broker. And you replaced him very shortly after I joined.
Oh, that's right.
As my broker. And
but didn't you move pretty quickly? See, I'm getting old. He's younger. He knows.
So you hired me as a sales manager at the 777 North Rainbow. So I worked with you.
Okay. See,
as a sales manager.
I was I have most of the memory of you being in the Sahara office, but you definitely, because I definitely saw his potential as manager, and that I've always been all about. You got to get this guy. He needs to be your broker.
Yeah.
But then we got you over to the company you're in now too, right?
Correct. That was you and I believe
that Realty One Group. Yep. So tell us so I just gave you my little. See, isn't that funny? It's like, I've just known him forever. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I was his broker. Maybe we work. I feel like we worked together, but he just cleared it up.
It does go back into the path of everyone has worked for Jan O'Brien.
Okay, whatever.
There you go.
But talk about your story. Like, give everybody your backstory, how you got in and how many years now you've been practicing, and just give us the fast track because it's so intriguing, the path your real estate career has taken.
Yeah. So I've been in 22 years now, and started as a brand new agent, actually part-time agent, and worked my butt off to transition out of my previous career as in management in the grocery industry, and built homes years before in my younger days. But in about 2.5 to 3 years, was able to transition out of my other career into full-time real estate, and worked under you there as a sales manager for a brief moment, and then decided to build a team. So stepped out of the management gig for a little while, built a successful real estate team, about 12 agents, and then still had a thirst for leadership, always have had. And so an opportunity came back up, and that's when I went to Sahara. Prudential Americana Group, Sahara, opening up, came up there. They were looking for somebody, and went over there with that was when Gene Friedman was still.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And outside of that, was at Prudential for many years, and decided to take the next step, and went to Keller Williams for about a year as the corporate broker, team leader. I actually wore two hats for them for about a year, and then.
Right.
That's when I got a call from Jan O'Brien and Catherine Bovard at that time, and said, "Hey, we have an opening up at Realty One Group," and it was 2 weeks of kind of a sore stomach, if you will, making that jump, but ultimately ended up making the jump over. So.
Right on. I remember that now. And you've been there. You've really kind of been there ever since, huh?
11 years. So I've been I was the corporate broker for 10 years at Realty One Group.
Was it that long? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
And tell us about how you had Rich Brock Group was with you at that Southwest office, right? Well, they pretty much had offices everywhere, right? And you were his broker for quite a while, correct?
Yeah. So I actually I recruited Rich over.
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't he over like at a Remax or something?
He was at Keller Williams.
That's right.
He had about 25 agents.
Prior to that, he was at Remax. That's right.
Correct. Yeah, he was at Remax for many years, I believe. And so he brought over about 25 agents and grew from there at the Southwest office. And we'd always supported him, always, took good care of him. We always had the same mindset, taking care of agents and not being petty and for the most part. So we always had a great relationship and yeah.
And his model, just remind us of the model, because it's very unique when it comes to, we do a lot with team leaders and team building, and the model that Rich started and that you've now you've taken over, basically, he's retired and you basically bought his team. It's like a company within the company.
Yeah, company, so for sure.
And it's not for everyone. So just help everybody understand what your model's all about.
Yeah, it really is. It's really what me and you have been coaching for many years, Jan. Alongside you there for a long time. After you trained and got me up to par, but team building, right? And so it's a model, really the brokerage within a brokerage model, true form. And so we basically operate as our own, just underneath Realty One Group, which for liability purposes, costs. Effectiveness. There's a lot of benefits of being underneath a brokerage, especially in today's world, if you will.
Yes.
Yep.
So, with that,
don't do it yourself.
Yeah. Yep. And so, so we operate as a company, and we have team leaders that ultimately have a certain amount of agents that they're responsible for coaching, training, and mentoring. And then, of course, with my support of the team leaders and their teams, that we have a really cohesive environment.
How many team leaders do you have now? So just imagine everybody, there's this 125 agents, and then there's managers or team leaders managing a group of people. So how many managers or leaders do you have now on the team?
So we have about 12 team leaders.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah. And there's, they manage anywhere between 5 and 15
Perfect.
agents. Yep, just depending.
And are you still mainly going after new agents? Have you adapted your recruiting strategies?
It actually is one of the biggest changes that we did make. When I the team was really more. We've attracted more seasoned agents. We still do the new agent recruiting. We still go down to the new Key Realty School and do the presentation there. But one thing I really have been focused on is quality, not quantity.
Beautiful.
So there's, instead of just bringing everybody on, which I know, it's a numbers game, but team leaders are very important, and you got to take care of them. And if you give them agents that just aren't going to do anything or aren't committed or connected, then it wears on them and they end up quitting or giving up. So that's my real focus, is to make sure. So my goal for 2024 is that the team leaders have, right around 10 solid producing agents that are doing anywhere from 10 to 15 transactions minimum a year.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's super smart too, because you do spin your wheels a lot with new agents. So I mean that actually was a nice shift that you're doing there. If you and obviously you have the street cred, and you've got the training and the team leaders trained up to be able to manage and operate and deal with people that are a little bit more experienced. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Can you share, Damon, what you think your 2022 production is going to be? Whether it's, I don't know if you track units. Rich always did units, but do you have units or volume? Do you know those numbers yet?
For 2023?
Yeah, 23.
Okay, yeah. No, in 2022, we did just under 300 transactions, 128 million in sales volume.
Okay.
2022. 2023, we are tracking right around 330 transactions. I believe
that's pretty amazing, considering the whole market / NAR has been down about 40% in sales, wouldn't you say? So.
Yeah, we've still been holding our share, and I do attribute that to the backbone of our team, which is the team leaders, that mentorship, right? That support system. So.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
congratulations. That's big numbers.
Yeah,
that'll rank you up there in all of those things that they put out
Yeah.
for top teams, mega teams, right?
Real trends and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you still have the team in different parts of the city? Realty One Group has different offices. Do you have satellites, or does everybody work in the one office that you're in?
No, we're in the 4 locations, and that in itself becomes a little bit more of the tougher part of the equation, if you will. But we do have team leaders in every location. And so what I've done is I've kind of broken out our training into the 2 main offices, the Southwest and Summerlin, to be able to appease the Northwest and Green Valley agents as well. It's a little easier to get to the training. We've also offer Zoom for the agents to jump on Zoom if they can't make it to a live class. We've diversified a little bit in some areas to make a little bit better support system for the agents.
How often are you doing a live training?
So 4 days a week, 10 to 10:30 to 12 is our training program right now. We still have the 23 modules that Richard put together. I've looked at. I've actually talked to Matt a couple of on occasion here. We're getting ready. I have my calendar time block for the next 2 weeks. Given there's no training, it's holidays to do the videos that we've been talking about for the last year.
Are you doing a lot of that live training, or the team leaders training as well?
So I do most of it, but our team leaders jump in and do the ones that they specialize in. So I reach out to them and say, hey, if you have a discipline, like we have one of our team leaders does the social media class because she's just all over social media.
Great.
You'll have some do open house classes, buyer presentation classes, but for the most part, I cover most of it.
That's pretty cool. So for the folks that are listening that are brokers, small brokers or teams, can you share some, besides the school thing, like getting a connection with a real estate school and getting brand new people, can you share maybe a couple ideas for recruiting? Like how can somebody go find those seasoned, or maybe that sweet spot is those people I always saw it on teams that have been in the business a year or two, maybe not getting the support, that really have already gone through a little bit. So what are some things that you're doing since you switched a little focus to that you're finding those people and getting them, convincing them to come over and join your group?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head, Jan. I mean, it's a lot of times it's the agent that's been there, done that, and they're looking for that mentorship, right? That support system. So we, being a part of a larger brokerage helps because we have a voice within Realty One Group, and so we attract a lot of agents that are already here at Realty One Group, which is a benefit. As far as outside in the marketplace, I think just social media. Right. Yeah. Getting your social media, your message out to people, to the, LVR agents, to make sure that, you're at least in front of them if they're looking for a different opportunity. Possibly, like right now we have a campaign that we're getting ready to launch for coming into the new year, with students, that went to school a year ago, possibly with a brokerage. Right now, if they didn't join us, then, hey, how's everything going? Right? Are you achieving what you want to achieve? Are you looking for more opportunity in 2024? We'd love to talk to you again, or talk to you for the first time. We have systems in place and resources for you to be successful. So that's really important for us right now, moving into 2024.
And the beauty of the way that the model works that you have, where you have multiple team leaders, so then the mega team, you're able to provide a career path for somebody that comes in too. Yeah. Or if someone gets to the point where they're ready to bail, you can hey, let's just build your team within our team, right? So
yeah, Richard was a smart man. He's a smart man. So he actually created a pretty good opportunity for people that are possibly looking to go do their own thing and to be able to keep them, within the infrastructure, gave some opportunities to become team leaders. And it's funny, as I talk to more and more people out in the marketplace, a lot of people are trying to get to where we already are.
Absolutely.
That's probably one of the things that has impressed me over the last year and a half or so, is just in talking to, the company called Place. You guys may have heard it. Place of Ben Kinney.
Oh yeah, I know. I remember him.
Yeah,
it's a guy.
Yeah, so they're attracting, I think, some teams to this infrastructure. And so I've been talking with them just a little bit, and what they're sharing and actually offering to help you grow to is, we're already kind of there. We're already doing what they're trying to get agents, teams to do. And so that's probably one of the things I think has probably impressed me the most. It's just a matter of fine tuning and continuing to find that additional value.
Well, that's the beauty of walking into a team that had already been established, like that of course, you've been watching that since the very beginning as that whole team grew. But that is a huge benefit of that, of the way you were actually able to work that. And now, we talk about building teams all the time, and that whole idea of building and then having an exit strategy, which Rich did, right? And so few people actually do that in this business, right? You say people talk about wanting to do it, but never get to the point where they can actually see it come to fruition, and it happened, right? And you're going to be able to do that too down the line. It's a beautiful thing. I had a point that totally lost my point.
Well, you just made me think of a point, and this particular model that Richard started really allows, it's kind of unique because a lot of teams, as you know, Damon, it's the Damon Caldwell group. And if it's a lot of people that you do the business with, it's very hard to transition to your replacement. Now, this model allowed for, it's basically a company within a company. It's a brokerage within a brokerage. So Rich wasn't really out there doing any production. You may still be doing that, but the reality is it's not, your name is on it, just like his name was on it, but the individual people are all the agents that are on the teams, the clients rather, are, not all your clients. They weren't his clients. And so, you're able to just go and rebrand or change the name and put your touches on it, and everything just continues to work, or maybe you're putting the things that you want to do to make it better, right?
No, 100%. It's basically, a company that's, operates, whether you're, now of course you have your own touch, you have your own,
absolutely
flavor to it. But if you left, it's still operating for the most part.
Well, listen, if it left, I know I could think of working all the years with Rich. The leadership is the key. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are doing that. Meaning what I was saying, like if you get to the place that you want your exit strategy down the road, this is a perfect scenario to do one of different ways to handle it and find that person who's going to step into the leadership role, because it needs a leader. And that's
no question. Yeah. That was probably the most successful part of our transition. I was a corporate broker. So I was already here. Agents already knew me. And so, totally. When I took over the team, it was like, oh, okay,
oh yeah, we know you. You are our broker.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome.
Okay, perfect. So I will say, Jan, you're 100% right. It's it's a lot of who the leader, the leader that you replace yourself with.
Yeah. What are your goals going forward here now? And I want to talk about your goals for the 2024, and then let's segue into a little bit of, especially your group, if you got a mixture of new and newer and seasoned agents, helping them make this transition to what possibly could happen with doing better with buyers, and navigating that, because it's going to be a minute. But first, what are your 2024 goals? Where do you want to take it? You want to, it's not all about, you said, hiring as many agents. I would imagine it's more about the productivity. But what's your thoughts on that? Where do you want to go?
My number goals are, I'd love to get to 500 units closed. That really is my goal. And there's a mix of that. I look at our brokerage really as our foundation, which is our team leaders, our new agents, and semi-seasoned agents, right, being the bulk of our production and our agent count. But we've launched a lead team where we're generating leads. So we have a core group of people generating that we're generating leads from different portals. Of course, my goal was to increase our units there by 100 to 150 units on that team. Nice. And then, of course, myself getting back into, the mix of real estate to increase my personal, business by, 40 to 50 transactions. So with all moving parts, working the right way, 300 or plus transactions with our core team, another 100, 150 with the lead team, and then 50, coming from myself.
Well, that's an aggressive goal, and I am now you've said it. It's out there in the universe, right? So we're going to have you back next year and follow up on that, because that's fantastic, and I bet you're going to hit it.
I know you will, and I love that. So what are you working on anything? Because you're always been such an awesome coach and trainer. Just like if I was back in your shoes, I'd be all about what are we doing which is what we do on the podcast. What are we doing to get our people up to speed with what changes could happen, even though here's the deal, in my opinion, and I want to know if you agree with me. So, there was the settlement in the one suit, and then there's been one, now it's the landmark case, right? So now it reminds me of, remember back when we had all the construction defect lawsuits here? This is exactly what it reminds me of. Yeah. We're all going to start seeing commercials in every state saying, did you sell a home in 2023 and did you pay too much commission? Call us. We're there for you, because it's going to come to Nevada. It is, right? Oh, yeah. It's already happening state by state, and it's freaking people out a little bit. And, but we know that there's a process. And so with that being said, what are you doing to, because this group is the group you've got to get. And I think they're the easiest to help understand. It's all about the training and the way they disclose things. And so what's your thoughts on what you're going to do to get everybody ready for what potential changes might come, even if it's a couple years from now?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and definitely a hot topic. And I think the first step right now, what you're seeing in the market is, not from me, but just brokerages in general, is the better disclosure of commissions are negotiable, right? That's right now, that's what they're really, putting their energy into, to make sure that, hopefully the goal will be, it goes no further. We just do a better job of disclosing to the public, to our clients, that commissions are negotiable. The number one focus for us right now is of course the buyer brokerage agreement and the buyer consultation, to where you now need to start entering, commission into the conversation more so with the buyer than ever before, because at the end of the day, if you start seeing the co-op drop on the MLS, either you're going to take a huge pay cut, or you're going to have the buyer, pay the difference. But I think it's even going to go further. I think it's going to come down to the consumer, and putting a listing agent's cap on and saying, I'm meeting with my seller, and given the amount of inventory that we have, if I have 10 properties that I'm going to be showing, and the buyer possibly has to pay commission on one of them, right? The conversation is going to be with the seller. Hey, what do you want to offer? Given that they don't totally remove the offer of compensation, right, from our MLS, but seller, what do you want to offer? Because here's 9 other properties or 6 other properties or whatever, and they're offering this. Now a buyer, right, with buyer's agents out there, most likely asking for a commission, right? The buyer is going to be posed with the question of, hey buyer, this property is only offering 1% or 0. These ones are offering 3%. Buyer, which properties do you want to go? You're going to have to pay me, given that the agent does a buyer brokerage agreement, the buyer's agent, right? You're going to pay me the difference. Hey buyer, on this one, you're going to pay me 2%, right? On these ones here, the sellers, they're covering the whole thing. Which ones do you want to go see? And I think it's going to go, it's at least for agents, that should be the direction that it goes, where it's not us saying, hey, we're not going to show a property because we're up on the MLS, right? That's the taboo,
right?
That equation is at now. We're harming the public because
it's the redlining of 2023, right? It's the same thing. But
it's going to come to the consumer, and if you educate your agents on doing the buyer brokerage agreement, having a slam dunk, buyer consultation, it's going to come down to, hey buyer, do you want to pay me 2%? Let's go look at this property here, and you're going to cover the commission. And or we can go look at these homes, right? And they're offering 3%. This might save you $8,000, $5,000, $10,000, on this property that's not offering the co-op versus one of these properties, and the buyer may be making that decision for.
See, I just think it's interesting. The way you just explained that brings up the point I always say, which is the buyer has always paid the commission
because
it's in their offer. So if we go through and I believe we're going to go through a little phase and we're just going to get right back to how it always was. And we're just going to be better at the way we disclose things, and commissions are negotiable. You're not going to say things like, if you don't have a co-op of X, no one's going to show your house. These are all the things that they used in that lawsuit, right? So, and obviously, buyer's agents can't say my commission is free. It's free to work with me. That's another problem of what has come back to bite everybody now through these lawsuits. But the way you just stated it is, if all of a sudden there's 0 to whatever co-ops, the buyer is going to bake that into their offer. So you think seller, you got your house on the market for X, which up until this point and still currently included whatever you negotiated with the listing agent for a commission and whatever you all agreed that you're going to pay the other side. So they know that coming in. So now if the buyer is going to have to pay, then they're not going to write the offer they would have if there was a whatever percent co-op, right? So This is just part of the education process. And the other thing that really annoys me that I'm seeing, like I saw it in an article that came out, because one of the big points in the lawsuit for the plaintiffs' attorneys was the real estate agents in United States are paid way more than everywhere else in the world. Well, it's 3 different animals. Mm-hmm. Like I know people in Australia, I talked to somebody and it's like, here's the deal. In Australia, you need a 4-year degree to have a license. It's way less number of realtors and people just go to the listing agent, right?
Correct.
Now, so I said to this guy who bought a house there, so did anybody represent you? Yeah, they hired an attorney. An attorney reviewed and they paid an attorney. Exactly. So it's like, are we going to go down the path of doing that? I don't see that happening. So I just feel like we're going to have to go through all this. So you're just getting everybody ready and starting with the smart thing. Start showing your value as a buyer. Make sure you're doing a solid buyer consultation. Introduce the buyer brokerage agreement and decide what your value is on all of that, right? And help them negotiate. If your agents can show why they're necessary, and this is going to hopefully get rid of, in my opinion, as time goes by, all these people that are out there that are lazy agents that don't do anything for their clients.
That's right.
Those people nobody's going to want to work with somebody who's just an order taker, right?
The door opener, correct.
The door opener. You got to do more. You got to negotiate or is this your thought too? Especially with what we're maybe coming into in the next year, if the rates continue to come down or we get through the election and whatever happens and the rates come down, more sellers are going to go ahead and they've been not putting their house on the market because they've got great rates. They're not going to go get a 7 or 8. Now we're in the 6s. Yeah. You guys focused on, let's go take some listings. Let's go find more sellers.
We've been focused on that for quite some time. Get your unfair share of listings because that keeps you in business. We know listings, homes are the product that we sell. So it's never a bad idea to have listings. More so, making sure that you capitalize on every listing that you do get. That's another thing we've been really focused on is, are you getting an additional listing and 2 buyers from your listing? Don't just take a listing, let it sell and go away when you had all that marketing and advertising opportunity that you blew.
Great point.
And that is why your transaction count this year did not go down. Right?
Point.
So that was smart.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, this has been great stuff. Just talking about how are you do? Oh, I have one more question before we get into the Ask 5. When you were talking about recruiting, do you have a dedicated recruiter? Are you doing the recruiter? How's that work? And what do you do?
I have somebody that calls. So I have somebody that calls to set the scheduled appointments on my calendar. Right now, I've been doing most of the face-to-face.
Yeah, because we know if they get in front of you, you're hiring them.
That's right.
For the most part,
no doubt.
Model one of the challenges I would say, good and bad, is when somebody meets with you, and you know this, when somebody meets with you, they're joining you, and so when you put them with the team leader, you have to make that connection because otherwise it's, well, no, I joined because of you, Damon, or your energy or whatever it might be, and that's what I want. So it's really important. We have our everybody we hire now, we're starting to do a disc profile on.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So to make, just a gentle, nothing overwhelming, just a gentle disc profile. So their team leader knows a little bit more about them, and they know a little bit more about themselves. And obviously that relates to working with clients. And so
I like that. So if you're doing the primary, I love that, because it's like you're the broker owner of your group, if you will, you're not the broker of the company, but you know what I'm saying. And that I think impresses people, number one. And then are you deciding, like, are you trying to do that whole with the disc and everything with the best fit for the team leader, and then do like a turnover? They kind of talk to the team leader as well. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So that's another, real significant part of our recruiting is making sure, that they're coupled with the right team leader, that they're, that it's not going to be, a train wreck, if you will, after the first, month. That's really important. And we don't always get it right. However, that's probably been one of the things I've focused more on in my interviews, now more than ever is sitting in and getting expectations. Right. That word I always use, I want to have clear expectations, just like we want to have clear expectations with our buyers and our sellers. So we're not having a different conversation a week from now or a month from now. So just setting clear expectations, not overselling is another thing. I don't like overselling. So just give them a real clear view, and then connect them with the team leader. And usually we do a pretty good job of connecting them with the right team leader that's going to help them based on who they are and what they want to achieve. So perfect.
Awesome. I love it. Well-oiled machine, just getting better.
Yeah, right. we have a lot of work to do, but we're we're on track.
No, it's clear that Rich made the right decision in who he had come in and take over his team, because you are taking your good stewardship of that team, and you're taking it to new levels, which is fantastic, Damon. So not a surprise, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, it has. I will say, for those that are listening, whatever, it's not, it's not easy by any means, and it's funny. I had a lot of people initially come up and ask when I bought the team, hey, are you happy to be out of there, or is it better or is it worse? I'm just very transparent. I'm like, listen, I already knew this going in, right? It's the same business. And you're buying a team, so you're still wearing that leadership cap. Right. It's just, different moving parts that you're dealing with. And it's all on your shoulders. You're not relying on, Realty One Group's not writing the check. They're not making the decision and telling you to do this. It's you're making the decision. So it's a little different animal.
That's beautiful.
Sure.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into our Ask 5. Damon, you are the last guest of season 2 of our Ask 5. We're excited for that. So let's jump into the first question here. What is your best idea, to juice some more business, or to get in and really kind of engage with your SOI and past clients?
Yeah, it's tough to say there's one idea. I think right now, given the season that we're in, I would say, to make sure that you're, in front of your clients, a good, client appreciation party is a wonderful idea right now. And today, in the season that we're in right now, the holiday season. So, but I think for me, the number one thing is going beyond just your basics of staying in touch with them. I know we do the 30 to 40 touches, but get to know them and make sure that you, on a personal level, can touch them, beyond just, sending them a market update and, just listed, just sold postcard, which is, I still, think still is very relevant. But, whether it's sending them a photo of something that they've posted on Facebook, a family moment or something like that, and then sending it in the mail and saying, hey guys, just thought you might, want to have this, for the frame at home. And so I think just staying connected with them on a personal level as well is probably one of the things I think will drive that connection much better.
I love it. Just do it, right? That's the problem.
Exactly.
So the next question is more about not how to get business from people that but what are a couple ideas when you're coaching your agents or that you've done to get them to think about generating new business, new leads? Yeah.
So I go directly to direct sources of business, which would be expired listings.
Right.
And that's just me, as far as if you want business today, then go talk to somebody that wants to buy or sell today. Right. So expired listings, I think, are a great way, but I put a little spin on it. I think that if an agent were to embrace their community and look at the opportunities within that community, and you have your expired listings and for sale by owners, that are out in that community, you get to have different conversations with them. You get to leverage open houses for those opportunities as well. So I think as far as new business right out of the gates, now this would not necessarily be for a new agent. Expireds definitely, you have to build your skill set. Outside of that, I think that open houses are a great way to get out there and knock some doors, or at least drop some flyers off. I was always in the mindset of knocking doors, but if somebody's not going to knock a door, that's their decision. But at least you get to show yourself in the marketplace and start building some name recognition. That people that come into open houses are possibly looking at doing something in real estate, whether they're trying to just investigate the price of their home and they live in the neighborhood, or it's a buyer looking to buy a home. And so I think if you were to do that, I tell my agents, listen, that should be your business. That should be your office. Go do 3 to 5 open houses a week, right? And set up your office there. You're not doing anything, and you're not going to get any business sitting in the Realty One Group offices. Go set up to where somebody can walk in, you can have a conversation and sharpen your skills. So I think open houses are still a tried and true way.
There it is.
We are huge advocates of the open house, so we couldn't agree with you more on that. Question 3, Damon, what holds you back?
Ooh, personal trend. You said you were transparent. Now let's go.
Yeah, no, I love that question. The reason I look like that because I love that question, because that's such an important question. What holds me back? I would have to say, I don't know that anything holds me back. I think making sure that you are going in the right direction long term, and not making decisions, just for the short term is something that sometimes will, whether cause me a delay or something like that, to make sure that it's a long-term investment, not just a quick fix. And so whether it's the lead platforms that you want to invest in, to where is this going to be in 6 months or a year down the road, right, would be the thing that would cause a delay, but ultimately you have to make a decision and move forward.
Right. So give it a little thought before you jump in, right?
Yeah, ultimately you're making a decision, especially for me, you're making a decision for an entire group.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of different personalities, in that group. There's a lot of different mindsets of what's valuable, right, to people. And so we're in the people business. So as that people group grows, you're trying to answer a lot of questions for a lot of people. And we know that you're not going to hit it on the head for everybody every time. So, but that would be the thing that I put some thought into, how does this affect the entire group?
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Our fourth question is, what inspires you? It could be anything, what comes to top of mind when I ask you that question?
The blue sky outside.
Oh, I like it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Waking up every morning and being able to create your own destiny, right? But no, inspiration. My family inspires me, right? So, and I love the question because it really comes down to your why. Really what inspires you, what's your driver, and for me, it's family first. So that's a big inspiration for me. I think I love books, podcasts, videos. Jim Rohn is he's a good inspiration for me. I love Jim Rohn, a little more old school, but more personal development is something as well. Matthew McConaughey is pretty inspiring.
He's got a new book out, right?
He has a book out, and I've been reading that. Pretty good. Just very upfront now, transparent individual as well. But yeah, as far as inspiring, the opportunity to grow this team to whatever level I can is really inspiring. I will tell you that every day. So I tell people when I woke up, when I was a real new agent, I woke up and I'd ask myself, where am I going to find a buyer or seller today? Right now I wake up and I say, how can I make this team, this business, the best place for an agent to be, right? How can I make this the best it could be? It's inspiring.
So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're looking at Mr. Caldwell, I'm going to ask him this question because I remember his sons and they were young and now they're all grown. Yeah. But I do believe you have next generation, don't you?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about? I just wanted to ask you. You have some grandkids now?
Oh yeah, we have 5 grandbabies.
Wow!
So you're looking at him. You're like, no way, he's a granddad.
Yeah. I'm getting older, but yeah. So we have 5 grandbabies, and
awesome.
We're loving that, and that's a big inspiration.
I would say you have a lot of inspiration running around you. That's
your sons are all doing well.
Yeah, everybody's doing good. The boys are local. My sons are local here, so
nobody wants to do real estate.
Well, one son is in. I was trying to get him to.
Okay, I was wondering.
Commit really is he's kind of got his kind of a full plate right now with his 2 beautiful little daughters, and he's actually a ref for wrestling. He wrestled in high school and he became a ref, so he's one of the youngest refs out there. He's now doing collegiate for wrestling. So trying to get him some free time so we can get in and he can take this baton from me.
Right, still good. I love to hear that. Are you guys still? You're big, huge outdoor enthusiasts. This is that season. Do you guys still all go out and do stuff like snowboarding and all that cool fun?
Still.
Or mountain biking. I just remember guys always getting out there doing fun things.
Yeah, we've been out for the last month or so. We have a 5th wheel, big 45-foot trailer we have a Razor, the off-road thing, and so usually it's either me and the spouse, right, Amy, or me, her and the family are out in the sticks, playing around or having fun. Yeah. So cool. Still love the outdoors. That's our.
I know. I only know that because in the years following you would be on social or something like there they go out there.
I know, that's cool. And then our last question, the S5 is: give us your best advice for agents to thrive now and into the future. I mean, clearly the best advice for agents is to join your team, but beyond that,
Not always, but I appreciate that, Matt. But not always. But you know what? For me, it's I break it down a little, maybe too simple. For me, it's the who, the what, and the how. So for an agent, who is your target market? Because a lot of agents don't figure that out and they run in circles. So who are the people that you need to be talking to and getting in front of? Okay, what are you sharing with them? That's a value, right? What do you give them that's value based, right? And how's it going out? Are you using social media? Is it mailing? And so this isn't not anything new. I just break it down in those 3 words. It's the who, the how, and the what, right? And if you can figure out the who, that's the first step is who's your target market, right? And you should have, really 3 to 5 streams of income, right? So whether it's open houses, your sphere, of course, is always number 1. If you're doing, farming or expireds, identify. And so I think the success plan for an agent, another thing I think I've really looked at differently over the years is instead of giving an agent a business plan and saying, here's your, here it is, do these things, they have to have investment in that. And I think that's why so many business plans go in the trash, because they don't have investment in it. It has to have their passion, their hearts, right? Their strengths intertwined in that business plan. So they want to get up every day and go do what they committed to doing, instead of saying, oh my goodness, I'm not going to do it today, or they have to have that investment. So identify the who, right? What are you sending them? What does it look like? And this is all systems, right? What are you sending them? And how are you getting it out, right? How are you getting out? Break it out. How are you delivering your message to them? And I think the agent answered those 3 things, and they had the right target markets, and they, of course, tracked and measured, right? Track and measure to see what's working and make the adjustments that they need to make. I think they'd be, probably pretty successful.
There's your business plan, everyone. Who, what, how. Exactly. Break it down. You just said it a very cool, eloquent way. It's exactly what I say. It's like, go figure out what the who is, what you're passionate about. Like, who is that target market? Who, because you really want to get up every day and do it. I agree with you 100%. But I like that. I'm gonna probably steal that. I'm stealing it.
Steal it. Yeah.
All right.
I've been
There you
sharing.
go.
So, yeah.
That was awesome. Damon, thank you so much for joining us today. You can get more information about Damon, more information about the Caldwell Group over at our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. This has been episode 269. What was I going to say? Oh, my goodness gracious. The last couple of weeks, we did a podcast on AI a couple of weeks ago. It has been on fire. A lot of inquiries about that. So if you have not seen that AI podcast, go back to episode 267 and take a peek at that. And then last week we talked about MyPath and how you can do the daily. That's something to keep in front of your face every day as you are doing the daily. No, as you are, making sure that you're staying on track. Go back to that in episode 268, and you can download MyPath over at WBNLcoaching.com on our freebies page. So go check that out. Jan O'Brien, we're down to the last two podcasts of the year.
I can't believe it. This year's flown by.
The year is almost over, so we will be doing our year-end wrap-up in a couple weeks, and I think we still have to figure out what we're doing next week. But we'll
I got an idea because Damon gave it to me, so I'll tell you what that is.
There you are. Right. Well, once again, Damon, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to having you back because, at the very least, you're coming back next year to hit that 500 goal.
Hopefully I'll be a little bit more polished on the next one, but all good.
You're awesome, man.
You're a natural, dude.
Thank
All right,
you,
everyone.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with everything. I can't wait. We should have him back about this time too, because then we can have you wrap up the year with us and talk about getting everybody fired up for 2025.
I'm available for you folks anytime.
Oh,
all right, you're the best.
That's awesome. Make sure you're out there doing the daily. Get up, get out, and be forever wandering, but not lost.
Love it.
Boom.
Good. There's Jimbo.
Oh, hello, Jimbo.
Might know.
Merry Christmas.
He may stay there year round. I haven't decided.
Christmas, Jimbo.